Welcome to the Straight Red Card. This is the last segment for this week. Maybe. Unless something happens. And then we'll
fired.
We'll fly out of the box and we'll do a left and a right and we'll knock your ass out like Tyson Fury. Do you watch that Tyson Fury fight, Brett?
No.
Oh my God. You must. It's a classic. It's one of the best fights I've ever watched in my life. And I've been watching boxing since Muhammad Ali was still boxing. Okay, so you got to watch that fight.
So you're saying we'll knock him out like that, but not like Cosby, right?
What do you mean by the Cosby comment?
I'm sorry, no.
He's a sick old man.
Sure.
I don't know what I missed the whole joke. It just flew right over my head.
Bill Cosby?
Yeah, Bill Cosby? Yeah.
He roofied a bunch
of knocked people. Him out. Oh, I get it. Okay. Sorry.
I was like, there's no way he doesn't know this.
Dude, I'm fucking stoned. So yeah, I did. It just flew right over my head. I didn't see it coming. You know, it was kind of like, well, in here. Speaking of what not knowing it's coming, how long is it going to take for these motherfuckers to find that Brian Laundrie guy who strangled that chick out in the desert? I mean, is he Bigfoot? I mean, how hard is it to find a dude these days? I don't get it. He's got a phone. Like, maybe he turned it off.
You'll eventually run out of money and it'll catch up at some point.
You think?
Has to.
I mean, he's going to get caught eventually. He's not going to be one of those mystery motherfuckers that like flew to Panama and then started living in some odd village on the fucking, edge of the world. I mean,
possible.
He could do that. I hope he gets caught because apparently he strangled this chick. Yeah. I mean, there's no proof yet. So allegedly strangled this chick. I mean, so we don't want to get sued.
Yeah. I mean, she's passed and he's on the run. So I mean,
we're not the only ones saying this. So, we just don't want to have to get a lawyer involved. So allegedly,
it's all allegedly, just like it was allegedly that Miazga kicked Berhalter's dog. When in fact, it turns out it was legit, and he just found out about this too.
Okay, well, why don't we get to the question about legit then? All right, because we got a question from Grenade, and then I sort of added some, like, I wanted their names to be like more funny. So this question comes from Grenade. Grenade a toilet full of poo for the fun of it. But no, don't.
A long fucking name, by the way.
Yeah. Grenade a toilet for the fun of it, but no, don't. Don't do that. Do not grenade a toilet. Nobody should have grenades in their house anyhow.
Please don't. So don't top deck anybody.
Exactly. His question was, did you guys hear anything about Lletget being upset that he didn't play versus Costa Rica and refused to celebrate with the team?
I honestly don't think it was Lletget that was upset. I think it was Berhalter that was upset after Miazga provided video evidence that it was Lletget that kicked his dog.
Okay, no, that's not good. We're
True
not
story.
We cannot do this again. I don't think we can do that again. All right. So the thing is, Grenade. Well, yeah, I've heard about it, and I've heard some behind the scenes story that Lletget was really upset about not being included in the 18, and that he had a big scrap with Berhalter on their 1-on-1, and that their whole 1-on-1 review of the tape of the game that they lost didn't go very well, and Lletget was really kind of upset about it. And I don't know if all of that's true. I can only tell you that the sources that I have are usually pretty reliable.
We actually have an audio clip from that video footage review. It's like, so Lletget. This is where you totally fucked up. It started at the first minute. It ended at the 90th minute. My problem as manager was I didn't sub you off fast enough.
Yeah, you played 90 minutes and you sucked most of them. And so, okay, this is just one of these guys that needs to be let go from the roster. If that's his reaction to being criticized,
He has no
that's not
room to
good.
fucking react like that. If the rumors are accurate, let's put it that way, because there may have not been anything. This may have just been a nothing burger. But I the person who initially reported this, I tend to want to believe. So, but I mean, it could be a whole nothing burger. But if it was, I'm sorry, Lletget, you have no room to get pissed off about anything.
Oh, and this is the same guy, and I'm a Galaxy fan, so let me be really clear. I love Lletget. I loved him a long time. But this is the same guy who was too big of a pussy to stand up to Zlatan, but once Zlatan left, he fucking ganked him online and called him all kinds of fucking, said he was a fucking, shit Asperger in the fucking locker room, and that he, pushed guys around. Well, stand up to him, you pussy.
Well, everybody knows that about Zlatan anyways.
It was a foregone conclusion that he was going to be Mr. I got the biggest dick in the room guy.
Yeah.
So, if you got a problem with that, then whip yours out and say, no, you don't. But no, Lletget waited till he left and then talked shit about him. So, all right, listen. And then he got in trouble for the thing too. Listen, Lletget doesn't have the best decision-making skills, in his head. And he needs to clear that up.
On the field.
Nor on the field. He's a sideways, backwards player. And that's okay. I'm still a Galaxy fan, and I root for him when he rarely plays for the Galaxy anymore, which isn't much. And so what? He rarely plays for the Galaxy, and he's a starter on the U.S. men's national team? Give me a fucking break. No. All right, done with that. Next question is from Samuel Cuts, and then I added a fart. And his question was, if you had 7 questions to ask GB, Gregg Berhalter, what questions would you ask?
7.
Also, 7's a weird number.
God.
Also, Gregg Berhalter would have to answer without doing Gregg's speech. Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, let's say we had the magical ability to make sure that Berhalter actually answered truthfully without
our questions,
pussyfooting around the answer. So the Gregg speech. So I'll tell you straight out, I don't have 7 questions for Gregg. I don't know if anybody.
I don't even have one. No, I don't have one.
No, you have questions. You just haven't written them out. That's a big difference between the
not
two.
In this scenario, because I don't believe this scenario is realistic. But go ahead.
That's the whole point of hypotheticals, Derek.
I get it, but I'm like, I can't get into it.
I'll get into it for the both of us, I guess.
All right, go ahead.
My one of the big questions really will be basing it down onto Berhalter's favorites. Why are you constantly bringing in Lletget and Roldan? I mean, you can make the argument for Acosta because we don't have an alternative 6 option at this point. But Lletget and Roldan, and even Zardes to an extent. Why over a number of other players that we all talk about?
So let me play the role of Gregg, honest Gregg, and you ask the question. You ask the question, and I will answer the question as
Gregg.
Honest.
Why
Gregg.
Why do you constantly call in your favorites when we all can see that they're not the best options?
Verticality. No. Okay, let me try.
Come on, Gregg. Do better than that, Gregg.
This is honest Gregg, not verticality Gregg. Okay.
That's Gregg's speech right there.
I would say it's because I feel really comfortable with those particular players, and they've been around a while, and I know them, and I'm comfortable with them. And I think that based on like Gold Cup and other results, that they can get the job done if need be. And so I'm comfortable with them. That would be Gregg's real honest answer. I'm comfortable with these guys. And
I guess my response to that would be, Gregg, I haven't felt comfortable about any of your wins with those players in it. They've all been grinds, and they've all been like 1-0 victories. Let's look at the Gold Cup as an example. A bunch of 1-0 victories.
I know, no. And Gregg would say,
but who wins?
Gregg would say, honestly, he'd say, well, you might have been right about that. This is what I hope what Gregg would say. And you might have been right. You might be right about all that. And I think Panama might have been a little bit of a wake-up call for me. And if that is the case, that it's a wake-up call for me, you might see some different names on the next roster.
So, okay, Greg. Okay, Greg.
All right.
Let's move on
Question
from
2.
this topic because clearly you don't want to tell me an actual answer.
No, that was a real answer. That was a real answer.
Greg, please tell me.
Yeah.
Did Miazga really kick your dog, or was it legit?
Well, I think that's a rumor being spread by these two morons on fucking YouTube. And if you
I hear they're damn good looking though.
I hear they're studs. And I hear that they should be porn stars, but I do understand they do spread false.
Makes sense given their benefactor. Okay.
They spread misinformation. And I'm just telling you, there's no truth to the fact that Miazga or Lletget have kicked my dogs. There you go. There's the answer.
Okay. I'll have you know that Mr. North is directing a number of videos with them. So
yeah. Are you really are you really doing 7 questions? We're gonna do
no, 7. I don't have 7 questions. I told you.
Okay,
this.
What's the next one?
Greg, we didn't call up Scally because he's not integrated with the team.
Yep.
When are you going to integrate him?
Hey, Brett, thanks for asking that question. I really appreciate it. It's a question that needs to be answered. So, we really could have tried to integrate Joe in this last window, and we thought about it really hard. But then we also thought maybe he needs to stay at his club and hold on to that starting position. And we thought that might put him in some threat of losing his position. So we thought it would be better for him to stay with his club over the break. So that's why we did that. But we fully intend to bring him in this next window. I think, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I'm sorry if that's not funny. I think that's the answer we need from Gregg. I'm sorry.
You mean he won't be fighting? You won't be fighting for a spot in 4 weeks from now.
I would
Gregg,
guess not.
I've got another question for you.
Sure, go ahead, Brett.
If a 3 center back formation is our backup to our 4-3-3, why haven't we tried that more often than just the 3 times we've tried it?
Well, I was okay with trying it here and then again, but then we tried it that one time, and we played Adams at right back, and it was really atrocious. It was really bad. It made me look like a total moron and a total idiot. And so I really not sure I'm willing to go back to the back, 3 thing again, because I don't want to look that dumb again. Does that make sense? Because
I mean,
that's the honest
I understand
answer.
What you're saying. Those are words, but let's move on to the next question, Gregg.
All right.
Why no formations with 2 strikers?
Well, I mean, it's something we thought about, and if you notice, Brett, we actually tried that apparently in one game.
I know you say that, but I don't think that's actually happened, Gregg. Come on. Why are there 2 strikers in formation?
Oh no, I think Brett.
Wasn't that the Panama game that we did 2 strikers on? What was it, Roldan or that was the second striker? Come on.
Exactly, you got it right. Yes, and that was the game, and we moved to a 4-4-2, and that didn't really work real well. And I'm just.
Brett, back to the 4-3-3 in the next game, right? Yeah,
I'm very comfortable with the 4-3-3 with our folks. So yes, that's my answer. All right, let me not be Berhalter anymore and move on to Ryan Chait. And that's his
question.
Name.
Better not be shite.
I added a little thing, so it's Ryan Chait is not shite.
Look at that.
There you go, Ryan, boosting you up, man. How many points are we expecting from the next window versus how much will GGG afford us? Oh, boy. How many are we expecting? Honestly, I think we're shooting for 4, Brett.
I said 3 to 4.
I mean, honestly, it's 2 games.
Mexico could be rough at home. As always, there are always going to be a competition when it comes to that home match.
Yep.
So that's why it's like 3 or 4. We could beat Mexico at home. We could beat Jamaica away, but I don't think we're going to get both wins.
No. So I think acceptable is 3, not acceptable is 1
or 2
or 0.
or 0.
Yeah, 0 would be bad. All right, Ryan, that's our answer. Taylor, Aldridge, Berliner. Yes, I have Taylor Aldridge. Berliner is not a beginner. No, he's not. He's not a beginner. No with Miles Robinson. Dude, just because Ruiz is in a wheelchair doesn't mean Miles isn't at fault. Top 5 league, and
right.
It is a goal with Ruiz. That is the only thing scouts will see. Well, if scouts aren't better than that, and that's the only thing they see, Taylor, then they're missing a lot of good stuff by Miles Robinson.
I'll agree with Taylor in the sense that the fact that Ruiz is in the wheelchair does not discredit the fact that Robinson is at fault. We talked about that in our
he fucked up.
We said, hey, Robinson totally fucked up, but he managed to catch back up on it. He managed to fix his fuck up.
And he won't catch a fucking EPL guy.
Sure.
When
that kind of a blunder would, unless it's Josh Sargent.
Oh boy, yeah.
No, but seriously.
Seriously.
We didn't discredit. We credited Robinson's fault.
Yes, we did.
In the description, we said, "Hey, dude, he totally fucked up, but thank goodness it was to Ruiz, and Brian couldn't turn and capitalize." We mentioned this.
We did.
And quite frankly, we talk about, Robinson's on his way out of MLS. He's gonna be in Europe because, quite frankly, I imagine that scouts are gonna look past. Oh, well, that was one fuck up. That was one fuck up in how many games?
Exactly. It was one mistake in a number of games where he played very, very well. The fact that McKenzie is at Genk and that fucking Robinson's still sitting in Atlanta is an atrocious scouting error by
somebody's picking him up. Somebody's going to pick him up.
They
Guaranteed.
He's gone. He's as good as gone. He might be the best center back we have.
It's possible that this may be the steal of a century, quite frankly. A smaller team may be able to pick him up. And that's a hell of a pickup if they can get him.
So,
I mean, we definitely call it like we see it. We saw the blatant fuck up.
Yep.
We saw his work ethic to get back and catch up to the guy in the wheelchair, or what did he say? Did he say wheelchair?
Yes.
Walker, whatever it was.
Wheelchair.
He caught up to the guy in the wheelchair and he stopped him from scoring or creating an opportunity to score.
Yeah.
So fuck up, but fix up too.
Let me ask Berliner this. If Brooks had made the same mistake, do you think he even makes the effort to even try to get back and stop it?
Even in the past? He's fucked up enough.
Yeah, I don't think Brooks would have even bothered to run back and stop that because he would have been like, no way, I can't catch up.
Dude, we fucking had the issue where he overstepped his grounds, stepping out of the 18, and then they scored a goal. Who fucking scored that goal? Where he overstepped himself.
I know what you're talking about.
Against Canada, or
I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. We all remember him stepping up and fucking
he made a mistake, and he didn't get back. I mean, we're talking about a 7-yard gap there compared to the 40-yard gap that Robinson made up. I mean, he's like, dude, and you can see in his face. You can see when Robinson stopped Ruiz from doing anything. He's like, oh, Jesus, thank God on that one. He had a face of relief.
And there are rumors out there that Gregg and Brooks had a conversation prior to the last window. And this is just a rumor that the discussion kind of went like this. Well, Gregg, am I going to play most of these games? And Gregg said, I'm not sure yet. And then Brooks said, well, in that case, I have a back pull. I have a back injury.
I haven't heard these rumors.
Yep.
These are new rumors to me.
Yep. So anyhow, I don't know if there's something between them, but our good, not a good friend, but Meg mentioned that she felt tension between Brooks and Berhalter. So anyhow, we'll see how that goes. God, I hope it doesn't become another Miazga thing, because Miazga and Berhalter are really the same player, except, Brooks has been around a lot longer, but they're basically physically the same, and they play kind of the same, and they have some of the same weaknesses. Let's move on to Roger L. And this is Roger L. L is for loser. You guys are too nice. He said the grades were too high. IMO. B is average. Are you saying no player had an average C game for our last ratings thing?
I will say that the L doesn't stand for he's a loser.
No.
He's called, but yeah. So
I meant he was calling us losers for not.
I don't even know if that was necessarily the aspect of what he was approaching with there. But I will say, yeah, there were a number of players that made mistakes in that Costa Rica game, and we could have been harsher on certain aspects. But you know what? The win always helps on the grades. You make a couple mistakes, but you know what? A lot of those players out there, and I can't think of a number of them that consistently fucked up.
So we've had this discussion before about our grade system.
Yeah.
And I've already said, like, if I brought home a C, my parents would have been like, what the fuck?
Get your shit in order.
Holy fuck, you got a C on something?
Yeah.
What are you not doing right? So that's what a C means. Like, you fuck some shit up. Now,
despite the fact that it's considered an average grade.
So I think the grades we gave, which were mostly Bs, were fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, a B is fair. A B means like if I brought a B home, that was still like, hey, why didn't you get an A? So that's how we're doing this, dude. And so Roger,
and looking, I know we're going to talk about it here in just a second, but looking at somebody like Steffen, who had a questionable play on the goal. He had some bad distribution, but you and I gave him like a B plus range.
Or something like that. Yeah, somewhere in the B range. Yeah.
As a whole, his distribution was fine for the most part. There were a couple of questionable kicks. The goal itself can be argued one way or another, whether or not you think that he was at fault for that. But as a whole, and again, given the fact that Costa Rica really didn't have many other chances outside of that, he made a couple of saves here and there, type of thing, small saves. But he played well enough in the sense that, and we won. And again, that he's always going to get a little bit better of a grade. And it'd say if we lost 1-0, then you'd start seeing questionable grades on that. And since that we lost, because maybe it was your fault.
So let me just put it this way: if you bring home an A, and that's what's expected, we all expect A's from these guys. So that's the grade you're looking for. Anything less than an A is just how much worse did you not perform up to the standard. So anything in the B territory is just less than an A. An A is what we're looking for. We're getting B's. If we get an A plus, you did something even better than what we expected. So,
well, I mean, even if you look at the people who did get A's and A pluses in our grade system, they had stellar games, absolutely stellar games.
Right.
And you compare that to Steffen, who had, like we said, we gave him a B plus, that range.
Yep.
And I stand firm. Maybe you could say B minus to B. You could make that argument. You may not be. Some people may not agree with you in that sense. And that's the case. There were a number of people who sat there and said, like, well, Steffen was at fault because he didn't go after this ball that was in front of him. And, Turner would have gotten it. And we made that argument too. We said, hey, I have no idea how Turner would have addressed this. We talked about how Steffen came out and headed the ball out because he's a much more aggressive goalkeeper. And Turner, would he have come out? No, he probably would have tried to cut off the angle and try to make the shots and stop on the shot. We
don't have a fucking time machine, so we can't go back in time and hit Steffen with Steffen's right knee with a bat, so we can't play. So we could see what fucking Turner would have done. No one does. There are people who prognosticate and say, yes, Turner would have saved that. You can say that if you want. And yes, it's very possible in another universe that's what would have happened if we would have, took a bat to Steffen's leg and Turner started, but there's no way to be positive about it. Let's get real here, folks. We don't have a time machine. We live in the world we live in. You can get real fancy about, existential theories, but we live with what we live with. Gregg Q asks, and I put Q is for quiz. Why you guys being so forgiving of Steffen? Again, it goes back to the same thing. He said he gave him a C-. We just explained all that. Turner makes that save in his sleep. No, he doesn't.
He might. We don't know that. That's the thing, though.
But we don't know.
Yeah.
Saying something like Turner makes that save in his sleep, maybe. We don't know because Turner wasn't there. And maybe Turner might have reacted a little bit the same way that Steffen did, waiting for.
Like I said, that opportunity might not have stemmed because maybe Turner sits at home, because I've never really noticed him as being the aggressor to get up into that initial play. Mm-hmm. Maybe he sits at home, tries to cut off the angle, and relies on his shot stopping ability. You don't know. And if that were the case, maybe there's not a second opportunity for the actual goal itself. Again, we're speculating here.
You don't
know.
Yeah, you can make up your own universe if you want to and live in that. But when you do that, it's just, you got to understand that that's you and your consciousness making that up in your own head. Mm-hmm. It's not a part of reality. So there is absolutely no way to Nostradamus yourself into prognosticating that he would have saved that. We don't know.
Hypothetical facts. Hypothetical.
There's a chance he would have. Yeah. There's a chance he wouldn't have. So, flip a coin, roll a big 20-sided die, whatever you got to do, but you can't prove that to me. All right. Stephen Reyna. And I have Stephen Reyna. Gio is my second cousin, twice removed. Okay. What if Arriola faked being injured because he knew Weah would be better for the team?
I love this question.
The world will never know. No, the world will never know. Yeah. But if in fact Arriola did that, he's a saint. He's a saint.
We've talked about this, and I know I commented this on another point, or even another comment for that matter. But all I can think about is that scene from Remember the Titans when Alan goes up to Coach and says, "Hey, I can hang with these, MLS players, but I can't hang with these international guys." Put Weah in, he's better. He's like, if you want to give him your spot, you go tell him. And he went over there and said, "Hey, dude, I pulled a hammy, I can't play."
Did he play this? Did he play this weekend?
I don't know. I probably should have looked that up before I managed that quote. That was a legit quote I got from a source.
Yeah. Okay. That makes it legit. A source.
Totes legit.
A source.
Not sus at all, man.
Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and I want to see. I don't think Arriola played this weekend.
DC United. Arriola was not on the 23.
Okay. So he's really injured. Yeah. So the answer to your question is,
or maybe he's, really living the lie, No,
he's
really
not
living it up. It's like, dude, I got to own this.
No,
it's me.
He's really injured.
Yeah,
he's really injured, folks. So this was not a conspiracy theory. Although if that were part of the movie,
it would have been.
Yeah, it would have been awesome if that really happened, but didn't. So last question, Brett. Oh boy, this is going on for a while.
Hey, there's another question. Shit.
There's the last one. Jordan Morris is nearly healthy again. Should he be considered for the U.S. men's national team? And this is from Wax My Dolphin. Okay.
Derek, are you Wax My Dolphin?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But surely he's heard that joke before, which is why he used it. Wax My Dolphin. That's an email question. We don't get a lot of those anymore. All the other ones were from YouTube. So yeah, that's a good question, Wax My Dolphin. I'd say he's above Arriola already if he's healthy and fit and ready to go.
Because Arriola's injured.
Even if Arriola is healthy, he's a.
So
if you listen, dude, they were both at Cardiff City. Who got to play and who didn't? Morris got to play, and fucking Arriola rode
injured, and then Arriola came in once Morris was injured. But yeah, no. So my take is, and I'm so suspect when it comes to knee injuries. I mean, this is Morris's second knee injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's on borrowed time. So
he is.
My take is, if Morris comes back to Seattle and he plays and he does well, give him a call up, because he's a balls to the wall, I'm going to goal type of player, and I definitely don't have a problem with that. But I guess the big consideration is if you're going to consider strike or your wing options, and you're looking at Pulisic and Reyna coming back, becoming healthy, arguably the same time frame, and you throw in Aronson, Weah, and you start throwing in all of the other options.
Conrad.
Yeah. I mean, Gio Caccini, Hoppy. I mean, you start throwing in all these options. And even if Morris comes back equivalent to what he was prior to his knee injury, which is a rare thing to occur when
it's questionable. It's
so questionable.
Yep.
Speaking as one who had a knee injury, and speaking as talking to another person who has had multiple knee injuries.
Amen to that. Yeah, I certainly have.
That's not the easiest things to come back from. I mean, using Gooch as an example, Gooch had a massive knee injury, and he was never the same.
I mean, I think things are better help in the medical community now with those kind of injuries.
Absolutely.
But still, let me just list it. You just did. Pulisic, Reyna, Aronson, Weah, Conrad, Gio Caccini, Hoppy. Then you're talking about Arriola and Morris at this point. So I don't know if he gets a call up or not, because I don't know how many fucking wingers you need on one team. I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
Even if you throw Hoppy as a 9, you're still looking at 5-6 deep, guaranteed, before you even jump into Arriola or Morris. You know.
Yep.
So it's one of those questions. Like, yeah, he's getting healthy, but he's getting healthy at the wrong time, in the sense that if you were healthy the entire time here and he didn't get that knee injury at Swansea, let's say if he didn't get that injury at all, then he would have been in contention that entire time frame. Whereas now he's competing against his best option is Conrad at this point, because Conrad wasn't in this last window. And now we're looking at who's gonna fill in what spot. We're looking at Aronson sitting on the bench, who's arguably our best offensive option in the last 12 games he's been in, you know?
Yeah.
And now he's sitting bench because Pulisic and Reyna are coming back. I mean, the question of whether or not Morris is going to be back in the starting lineup is severely questionable.
You know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking I fucked up, or you did too. We failed to mention that Conrad de la Fuente played 75 minutes this weekend.
We didn't mention him in the recap. You're right.
Oh, I don't know how we missed that. That's so weird. But yeah, I mean, he just totally. I must have skipped over him on my list, and I do that on occasion. I'm like, I do a skip.
I tend to try to catch you on those too.
I know, and they won 4-1 against Lorient.
Good.
And I think he played pretty good. So I don't know. I mean, you got to include Conrad at this point. You just have to, and that just puts, like, you know, the Arriolas and the Morrises further down the list, and that's okay, folks. It's okay. This is not an MLS versus Euro thing. It's just who is producing.
And right? Again, don't get me wrong. Morris has produced for the U.S. national team when played.
Yep.
But we're looking at a lengthy injury followed by 2 or 3 guys on top of the wing depth that we had prior to his injury. But 2 or 3 guys step up and show up. And now we're sitting here going like, I don't know how we're going to call these players in. Well, maybe we can push Reina back into the midfield, and that'll open up. Well, no, then Conrad's taking that spot. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for Ariel or Morris to squeeze in this unless both of them start really kicking ass in MLS and scoring goals. Or
I'm sorry, but unless you have injuries or COVID protocols, I cannot see them taking the spot of anybody that's playing in Europe at this point.
Exactly. All right, that's going to do it for this segment. Now, Brett, one of the most frustrating thing is, and I don't know if you've had to deal with this lately. I'm sure you have, but so to get on the highway in one of these major road outlets of my house, I got to take a right onto the highway. These dumb motherfuckers in front of me who are going to take a right don't know that they can take a right when the light is red. It's red, but there's no one coming. Get on the fucking road, you dumb fucker. Start driving. I mean, oh my God, it's so frustrating. So frustrating.
It's funny being married to a woman who's from Michigan and dealing with the winter issues we have to deal with here in Indiana. Yeah. In comparison, and hearing the complaints. Now, mind you, there are definitely issues we have to deal with here in Indiana that I don't think anybody has to deal with around the world. Four-way stops are an impossibility for most people from Indiana. It's fascinating. We get up there and they're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, and you succeed eventually, but once we start getting a little bit of snow or sleet or
it all goes
ice,
to hell.
It all goes to hell. First week is just absolute garbage. But it's funny also in the sense that, again, my wife's from Michigan, who's used to dealing with like a foot of snow.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my, when she first moved down here, she's like, oh, I can't believe these Hoosiers don't know how to drive in snow. I'm like, well, we don't get snow here in Indiana.
Yes, we do.
We get an inch of rain and then it freezes and then we have ice.
But we get snow too over the last 10 years.
Very infrequently.
We get snow. Come on, no.
Infrequently.
But people don't know how to drive in that
the problem is the snow melts because the sun's out. It melts and then it freezes overnight. And then we have to deal with the ice.
Yeah, and so, people are
consistently. But I'm not discrediting the fact that we can't drive in the snow. I remember I had an instance. I was in Bloomington my senior year. I forgot what the bank was called. It's right there off of 17th and right there by the south of the stadium.
Okay.
But I'm in that parking lot because I had to get money for some odd reason, probably for beer. It's my guess. But I'm in that parking lot. I'm about to pull out, and there's a car coming down the hill, and I'm looking at this car, and it's not slowing down, and it's starting to swerve. So as it's about to swerve right into me, I'm like, I'm just gonna gun it and get out in there. And I got out in the street and bypassed, and I was about to get T-boned by this idiot driver who had no idea how to drive in snow. So it's definitely a realism that
but Brett,
people here are stupid.
You just increase the difficulty by adding snow. I'm just talking about regular old driving around the fucking town. Okay, I'm like, okay, you're at a stoplight. The light is green. You're
trying to give us a little bit of credit here in Indiana. There, come on, come down.
The light is green. You're in the left-hand turn lane, and the dumb ass in front of you doesn't know he can take a left on a green when there's no one coming from the other direction. I mean, this just happens on the regular. What the fuck is wrong with people? How stupid are they? How did they pass their driver's test? And I honk at them and whatever. I have literally passed somebody. I've passed them on a left-hand turn. I just went into the other lane and I passed them. And then the guy got behind me and was like, oh, he was all angry. I'm like, okay, motherfucker, pull over if you want to. because I'm about to beat some ass if you want to get into this shit. And yeah, it didn't happen because he didn't want to pull over. But oh man, he was so mad and honking behind me because I passed him because he was a fucking idiot who didn't know you can take a left-hand turn on a green when there's no one coming from the other lane. Maybe he was staring at his phone or his penis. I don't know. But man, I would have beat that ass down. That's all I got to say, because I was so up, when he started honking.
While he was staring at that penis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would have beat his ass, especially if he's staring at his penis. He's all worried about his penis. I'm punching him in the face. No, I try to avoid that kind of shit. But I mean, there are moments where you're like, man, what are you upset with, dumbass? You're so stupid. You stood at a fucking green light for fucking like 5 minutes because you're too dumb to know you can take a left-hand turn on a fucking green when there's no one coming the other way. Listen, it's ridiculous.
My issues with drivers, and this may just be an Indiana thing as a whole, but Indiana's become a very roundabout state.
I like roundabouts.
I love roundabouts too, but people are fucking stupid when it comes to roundabouts.
They're dumb.
And their incapability of doing a single roundabout, let alone a 2-lane roundabout. God, you throw a 2-lane roundabout and their fucking mind explodes. Man, even a single roundabout is just like, dude, it's not a stop sign.
This is
yield. You yield.
It's not complex. If there's someone coming in your way, you let them. You wait. If there's no one there, you don't have to stop and look 2 ways for 30 seconds.
And just for any of our viewers who aren't used to roundabouts, if there's a 2-lane roundabout, think of it like a 2-lane road. If you're in a 2-lane road and you're a right-hand lane, you can turn right, you can go straight, but you cannot turn left. And if you're in the left-hand lane, you can go straight, you can turn left, but you cannot turn right.
I'm going to assume most of our subscribers are smart.
Yeah.
So they don't need this information. So it's the idiots of the world that we have to worry about. And they're everywhere. They're fucking everywhere. I mean, every time I drive to my parents, which is about an hour and 45-minute drive north, every time I get there and survive without being crushed or maimed on the highway, it's like a fucking major celebration.
Fucking 37 right there before you get up to 465. Just happy to get there, I guess.
No, I mean, can't even go on 37. You got to go on 67 now because 37's been closed down for what, a year? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
It's equivalent to 37 North, which is obviously 69 and 37. So, I mean, that's always under construction too. For those Indiana folks or people who travel through Indiana, which may not be that many, but nobody. There's a certain highway that's always under construction.
There's like 2% of our audience that knows what the fuck we're talking about right now. All right, so we've jumped the shark here at this point.
And if you're still listening to us, make sure, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, comment on all of our videos.
I was just gonna do that. Like, subscribe, share it with that one uncomfortable person in your life that you want to make even more uncomfortable. Send them one of our shows. Share it with them. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, God damn, this was a long night. Good night.